All right. So, it is a new week. We have finished our last vampire in the last stream. That was a very long stream. That was a very long edit. Pretty sure, yeah, I managed to get all of it. The supercut is coming, so it's gonna be tomorrow. I don't really put much thinking into the supercut. I kind of just release it like 2 days after the last stream goes up, because it's Wednesday just feels like a good day. I don't know, it's kind of like right in the center of the week. It's the hump of the week. Some even call it a hump day. Anyway, so this week we're gonna be starting on our new vampire. So first things first, let me drown this thing in a color that isn't bright white and completely blinding. There we go. That way it's not like blinding me on the screen. Let me also, I literally planned on doing this, but then a family member came in my room and I got distracted. The Ministry palette. I could actually save this for another stream, but I'm gonna see if I can just grab it real quick. I love that Google tabs change, so like instead of images being the second one, it'll switch it around to what it thinks you want. So sometimes I'll accidentally click shopping and it's like a headache. Ministry, that's what I'm pulling up. Vampire the Masquerade. There it is. Copy image. Paste. I don't really know this web. Oh, I think the windows pop up now. I figured out how to get the stuff. Oh, let me test that. Logistic curves. Can you see that? You cannot see that. I thought I just figured that out. There we go. I hope I don't have to set that up for every stream. But, yeah. It's also not going over everything. Let me move you right there, make you a little smaller. Like there. Just like tucked away in that corner over there. Alright. So yeah, now you should be able to see whenever I'm doing something to the colors, the saturation and all that. Hue changes. It was always weird on stream, especially whenever I was like editing, because like all you would see is just like the colors changing like a decimal. Because really you don't need to tweak the colors that much. You like very soft touch to the color. Unless you are going really crazy with your palette where you're playing with like a bunch of different saturated colors. Me, no. Usually I try to plan that out ahead of time so I don't have to like completely change a piece by the end of it. Those are usually for more like free-form pieces where you're not trying to keep to a color palette. Like these are characters that I already have decided the color palette for. And maybe I'm shifting them around a bit. Anyway, let's get back to this. So, like I mentioned before, I finished my piece. I posted on Instagram a little bit today. It actually did very well. I'm happy with it. But I mean, 10 people. That's good for me. Those 10 people are great. It's like 2 or 3 of them are family members, but you know what it is. Yeah. Small victories, I'll take them. It makes me, even if it's just like people I know, it feels good. It's nice to have people that can support you, even if like, we can't all be super famous on a whim. And my pen isn't working. I was literally just thinking like, oh, I haven't charged anything in a little bit. It's always my pen that runs out of battery. I think because I'm always dropping it out of its little holder. I think that's supposed to save the battery. So like whenever I drop it, it just stops saving the battery. It thinks it's on. I don't know. Maybe I'm just making things up. There we go. So, this is gonna be a new character. I actually did remember to change the title of the stream for this. This is gonna be Talib. And this is the Ministry, which you might have noticed from down at the bottom corner over there. The Ministry. They're also known as the Setite clan, Setite. The children of Set. They were all Egyptian themed and all that, which was pretty silly. But I mean, no disrespect to the people who like those, because again, I've mentioned this prior streams. I'm not, I don't think I should be considered like any kind of authority as far as like a fan of VTM. I am literally somebody who's never even played VTM, Vampire the Masquerade. I've only played the game, and even then, I've only played it once. I still haven't done a Malkavian playthrough. Maybe we can do that for a stream. Doing just a bit of gaming. I don't really want to do gaming streams. I like to keep it to art, but why not? Anything work? I'm on the wrong layer. What am I doing? It's like the first time I've ever done art or digital art. So this is gonna be the last character for a little bit. I'm gonna switch over to doing some more miscellaneous pieces. Just whatever I feel like doing, kind of like the before. I think maybe every 4 vampires I'll take a break and work on stuff. I don't even know if that's gonna work, because I think there's 6 after this break. I could probably count them. One sec. I'm pretty sure I still have it open on another page. Oh, what's going on there? Go away. That's so annoying. Is there any way to change this? Hang on, let me test that again. Filter, adjust. It's been there. Is it? What? Come on, give me the thing. Just give me the thing. Sorry, 1 second. Maybe I have to make one for each type of window, and I only use like 3, but I'll do the rest of that later. I'll try to only do it whenever I need it. Thankfully, I don't do it that often anyway, so. Okay, I remembered I was gonna look at all the vampires I have, just to get benchmark where I'm at. Because I think doing just vampire after vampire after vampire does get a little exhausting, as much as I love these characters. Okay, so yeah, I think we're more than halfway through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13. Oh, it was only 13. I thought there was 14. Okay, that's cool. So that means I would only have to do 1 extra. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I took a break. 1, 2, 3. One of them's missing. Start again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so there's 14 vampire clan. Not including all the blood. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I took a break. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'll take a break after this one. 4, 1, 2. Yeah, I could take a break and then just do the last 2. I like the last 2. That would be La Sombra and the Malkavian. The Malkavian will be the most fun because that is absolutely my favorite character out of all of them. You might notice that I say all of them are my favorite. I think my legitimate favorites out of all my character designs are my Malkavian. How's this gonna look? Okay, let's go. Yes, go. Just copy and paste the image. How hard is it? Hello? Did that freeze the app? Here. Oh, one. Yes, download. Greta, I'm begging you. Okay. Here we go. This is my favorite character design out of all of them because it's wacky. It's of a very specific period. I love it. Just like everything about the vibes are really fun with this one. And not only that, I actually love the designs that went along with that. So each character had like other characters around them. So, you know, like I would draw their sire sometimes. I would draw maybe like a rival that they have inside of their like lore. And hers had a teacher. And I themed it after like kind of like the Hispanic influence. And because she's from Texas, ran away to LA, but like, you know, LA is where she considers her home. And then she has a, you know, like LA obviously has a lot of Spanish influence there. So I had her sire be like a Spanish music business mogul who was very into like the alt punk scene very early on into like the 1970s 80s. I don't I would have to do all my research again of like when exactly new wave and like everything came out, but anyways, I had really a lot of fun working on it. Yeah, that's maybe my favorite design. And it's hard because I have a lot of designs I'm actually really into. And we all know like the one that I just worked. One of my favorite designs. Come. I should probably like flatten all these files. I have like two drives and they're both like anyways. This is also one of my favorite designs because she's just like so. I kind of let loose with her design where I was just like, you know what? I don't have to think too hard about like, is this a character design that's gonna get anybody like hurt or offended that I draw characters a certain way. Sometimes when you draw like a very, I don't know, exaggerated art style with, you know, characters with needlessly tiny hips and very wide waist and all that, you can kind of hurt people. You can kind of get people a little upset about it. This is one where I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'm gonna make at least one of these 14 characters. Just nothing but like just a little bit of fan service. Just a little bit. I'm not even like a super fan servicey artist. Like I don't even like doing that personally. I don't think so anyways. But yeah, her design, and again, I love all the characters I got to design around her because I designed like her entire like family, her nuclear family, you know, like the mom, the dad, everybody else. And then I have like the favorite story, and that's gonna be the current one that I'm gonna work on is also one of my favorite character designs because I had a very good idea early on, and I think I don't know how many people would catch it, but I like it. But obviously I'm going to talk through the design while I'm drawing them out. Okay, so enough of that. Let's actually get into it. So this one's a little bit more simplified. I think we're just going to go really simple with the angle. I did draw it out in a bunch of different ways, but I think we're going to keep things very simple. Please, just... You have to have a mix of like really trippy angles, really crazy camera angles whenever you're working on art, especially if it's like comic books where it's like you have to like keep things dynamic, keep things moving in a bunch of different ways. I'm gonna do it like. I do like a really broken rule of thirds. this is nowhere near exact, but at least gives me an idea of where to put the focus. All right. Let's see. Let's just keep him like right here. Very simple, dead center. And unlike the last one where it was like a very exaggerated camera angle and a very weird pose that took me a lot of time, this one's relatively simple. So I think I'm going to try to spend more time focusing on the mood of the piece, because I mentioned with like some of my other pieces that like they pretty much the only one that keeps the right mood are the first two pieces, and then after that maybe like the fourth and then the last piece. And even the last piece, like Monica, it's like a little grim, a little supernatural, but it's not, it still doesn't give that punch, not like that like grimy nightclub feel that like Vampire the Masquerade usually gives. Sometimes I get a little carried away with my own pieces and make the characters all happy-go-lucky and kind of forget like the entire like mood of the piece, just because like I'm having fun with the design. Background, pop, pop, pop. Very simple. Well, this actually isn't that simple. Like, it's gonna be a bar, so I'm gonna have to like draw a whole bunch of background nonsense, which I actually like to do. It's fun making like a big complex background sometimes. I think one of the hand-drawn ones that I posted, the second week, he's in like a bookstore with cats and everything, and I had a ton of fun doing like a bunch of book designs, like book sides, book covers. I think they're called bookends. But yeah, I had at least come up with like some generic designs that could like stand in. Yeah, just like a bunch of beers, liquor bottles and all that. So I'm gonna have to come up with a bunch of different shapes, because I know they can get really crazy. I mean, you know me, I'm a big drinker. I know alcohol. Anyways. So, let me describe what I'm doing here. This is gonna be him like chilling at a bar. So the ministry is really like, I explained in the last one for no reason, because I forgot that it wasn't a La Sombra character. When I was writing the description for the character, I even like put in La Sombra and then had it backspace, because I was like, wait a second, I already made it. Anyways, I explained that the La Sombra were like a really hard clan for me to separate from the Ventru. And I think the ministry was also another clan where I had a little bit of trouble trying to get like, figure out a way to make them a little bit more morally gray than certain other vampires. Like Bruja could obviously just be like an evil bully, and then also can be like the activist who, you know, doesn't wait for change, you know, they create change. That sounded a little bit more dramatic than I wanted it to be, but you know, it is what it is. But the ministry is kind of just like, they like to seduce people into like their religion, which is kind of like just weird as a non-religious type. But in this one, I think they really kind of explained like it's not about like trying to woo people into like believing in Egyptian gods, unless they're like old school Setites. The new ministry is about trying to get people to like break their own like moral codes and that kind of thing. This is part of the main character. So they kind of have like this almost like rivalry, at least in my head. I don't know if this, I think I remember reading this, but I can't remember. But they have like a rivalry with Toreador, because they're also like into like seducing people, but you know, in a more direct, you know, they want to sleep with you and then eat type of way. While the Setites are more seducing you into religion or into like breaking your moral boundaries. These people are tiny. I need to make them bigger. Yes. I'm gonna make this one female. She can be short. I see a lot of really short women in my town. I wonder what the average height in my town is, because I feel like we have like a ton of like people 5 feet and under. I don't know if it's a small town thing, but usually if there's a tall person, everybody like kind of oohs and ahs around them. Maybe it's a southern thing, I don't know. Maybe we just got a lot of short people in the south. I don't know. It might just be because I'm from a short family, so everybody has to use short. Anyways, I'm super distracted. I'm gonna do one more layer above everything, and this is gonna be like the random passerbys, because I kind of want this to be... Let me very simply explain the scene, because I'm getting distracted with too much different topics. It's gonna be the main guy, Talib, and he's gonna be eyeing you from across the bar, and he's gonna be like lifting a drink, you know, kind of inviting you over in a kind of sinister way. He's gonna have like his round shades to give like a kind of creepy silhouette. Maybe a flash of his fangs. We'll see how I end up drawing it. Ooh. So I kind of want to also like to make it look like a very busy atmosphere, because I think that also gives the illusion that like you could kind of get lost in the crowd. So if he were to like bite you or, you know, whatever, you could almost like lose him. It's kind of like that, like really dense atmosphere in a like a really busy club, or, you know, someone might even be able to slip something in your drink, and then no one will ever know like who it was, and just completely get away with it. By the way, check your drinks. Be very careful with your drinks at any public place, any concert, anything, because the amount of people that come into the hospital that I work at that are have literally no concept of what's happening. You know, like they just come in completely drugged. Is just like insane. Like and it's terrifying, because like your friends and family will literally just be like clueless as to what to do. All they know is that you're not acting the way you're supposed to, so they knew to get you to the hospital if you're lucky. So yeah, a little bit is me trying to spook you into being more paranoid. So yeah, I kind of want this to be like, you see him at a bar, at a really busy club, and it's maybe not even like the safest kind of club, you know. So, you know, like it's so busy that like everybody becomes like a sea of random faces that you know, only maybe you'll see your friend. You could easily get lost from your friends, and you might meet somebody that you'll never see again. It's like that, like anonymity, that like I don't know what to call it, like you just got lost in a sea of faces. So maybe he's somebody you see at the bar he seems very friendly on the outside, but inside, obviously, vampire, gonna eat you. You know, he gonna eat you. He's not gonna kill you, but he's gonna eat you, and maybe, you know, get you to break some rules that you know that he's exciting. You know, like he's very good with his word. and he seems so safe. You know, and that I gave him kind of like a very hipstery, nerdy outfit because I wanted him to have like this trendy, safe looking. Like, of course not. Like, he's just a normal guy. Like, he's not weird. He's with the trend. But that's exactly the type of person who sometimes, you know, they end up being the people you got to be afraid of. Because they use that exact, you know, trust that you like, that innate trust that you have for them to take advantage. That's the idea. Vampire the Masquerade, you know, you gotta. It's all about those characters that are very, very, very morally reprehensible. Although, not to completely justify his behavior, I do. Like I said, I wanted to find that like morally gray route for these kind of characters, especially with like each clan. I wanted to find if there was a way to make them not just criminals and murderers. The hardest one was probably either La Sombra and Tzimisce. Tzimisce's two clans away, so we'll have to get that in the next. And I have both the next characters also plotted out what the design is gonna be. This one was a little tricky because I was trying to think of like some super complex way to do this. And eventually I realized like, yeah, maybe actually just like the simplest idea and just trying to execute it really well will be the best route. Okay. Yeah, I think we can just focus on this now. Actually, one second. Let me get this little guy. Actually, I think this might be a gal. Maybe a they, them. I'm gonna lower them just. And merge it back with everything else. Cancel. Select. Deselect. Where's that other layer? Oh, they're already part of the same group. Okay. And then just maybe lift them up a little bit so it looks like he's kind of behind him. I don't want him to look short. It's not intentional. I think he's like 5'8". Like, he's just normal. Maybe 5'9". I don't remember. I wrote the heights down for a lot of characters and then immediately forgot them. I just kind of know like this character is specifically very big. Like the bodybuilder character, I knew it was gonna be like a giant titan. Like literally like as if an Olympian just walked through your door. Maybe he broke the door on the way in. Anyways. This one's gonna be just very unassuming, other than the fact that he has a very big afro. Let's see. Look. Okay, let's focus on designing him out. I think we're just gonna design him, then we'll keep moving. So obviously very curly hair. Now his hair is actually like a really important aspect of the design. So what I had the idea for was, you know, it's a clan of snakes. So I'm kind of just make him look a little bit more snake-like. But I did that maybe a little differently than I think I've seen most people do. So the usual thing would be like, kind of like exaggerate how slender the character is, make them look a little bit more curved, you know, slimy, slithery. I went for the crest look, like where they have the king cobras, they have like a very big crown or ridge on their back, you know, like the Arbok shape from Pokemon. Is that what Mega Arbok? Oh. Whoa, I didn't realize there's a vector. So yeah, like that big pronounced crown, that's what I'm gonna call it. I wanted that kind of like silhouette on this character, so I decided that his afro would be like particularly shaped, where it kind of gives like that big round feel, or not necessarily round. It's more like the Superman shape, where it's like the round and then it has like a diamond look to it. So like I kind of want to build him up kind of like one of those snakes. And personally, I really like the look. I need to change this shape a little because he's looking down, so this is like the very center of the top of his head. We'll get all the details of the face worked out later. Make him look a little bit more less sinister. Just sinister enough, you know. He looks like very thin and scary, which isn't what I'm going for. He's supposed to look very almost like a movie star, because he's actually also his cover, or you know, like his human character is that he is a TV star. So he actually has a little bit of fame, but just like a little bit. Like he actually doesn't really like being an actor. He just likes being around actors. Does he have belt? Oh, duh. Let me pull in the character design. I was talking about this silhouette and design, and I don't even have like a reference to it. I did this, or yes. Stop asking me so many questions. Here we go. This is the character. Pull them all the way front. Bop. All right, so here's basically kind of like the scene we're going for, where you're literally like at a bar and he just has like a friend to him, you know, like he buys you a drink. He just offers up a good company. And maybe after talking for a while, you get really passionate talking about what your goals are. You know, you decide to trust him, and that's when he reveals he's actually kind of a scary looking dude. You know, like he just wears a big old jacket and a vest, and then whenever he takes that off, it turns out he's very scary. So yeah, like he has like a very like somewhere in between, like very charming, very friendly, but also like at a certain angle, in a certain light, he can be very, very off-putting. I don't think I'm gonna include the hoodie. I don't know why I gave him a hoodie. But yeah. Then you can see like I try to get that very pronounced like silhouette, especially here. Like I think this is where like you can really see like the visual of maybe a snake with gigantic arm. But unfortunately, I cannot remove his arm. And then here he is as a TV star. It's basically supposed to be like a romantic drama set in like a historical period, because I like that kind of thing. And he likes playing the little cat's cradle thing. It's just supposed to be like a visual metaphor for the whole breaking chains. He kind of like playing with a little cradle, and sometimes it snaps. Okay. back to this. Well, hold on, actually. Let me group layer above it, erase, so we can make it a little bit easier to use it as a reference. We're just gonna trim big chunks off. I think the brush was like, oh. We do a little bit of non-destructive editing. He's looking very maneuverable right now. This is also one of my favorite like pencil drawings I've done of one of my characters. Sometimes it can be a little sloppy because I was still getting used to like drawing, making my art like presentable for people. Because this was like my first time I started like posting on Instagram. Okay. What in the world? There we go. Little reference. He's very bulky in the shoulders now that I'm looking at him, which is good. He does have like the movie star look. Very traditionally attractive. I'm gonna give him like right. Maybe erase a little bit more. Do put more trim around the paint. Honestly, if I redesigned this character, I'd probably just give him painted nails. I don't think. Not that I can't. I think it's just fine. I think that it's not really something I'm trying to communicate with the character. I could give him a bunch of rings, but no. I want him kind of to look like a nerd, kind of like a stick in the mud. No, hold on. Wait, not exactly a stick in the mud. Like he's very fun, or he's supposed to be fun. Okay, back to. Maybe like a very charming nerd type. Nerd but like the kind of nerd you want to hang out with and talk. Not the deranged, talks endlessly about like a certain fandom with like no consideration of whether or not anybody is actually interested in talking about that thing. This is like the just nerdy enough to be fun kind of nerd. Not the trying to explain to you the entirety of Warhammer lore in a single sitting. As much as I like Warhammer, it's a lot. It's a lot. Come on. I thought I got like misaligned, but everything's still on the, at least around the third mark. In the rule of third, trying to keep things near the lines and intersections. Wow, I just got hit with like a wave of tiredness, which is weird because I'm actually drinking a lot of coffee right now. Dangerously not enough caffeine. All right, what am I doing? Working on a character. Take away the design he's getting in the way. So he's, you know, got his arm leaned back behind him. Actually, if it's leaned behind him, it'll be like this. Like that. Yeah, that feels a little more appropriate. And then trying to get that foreshortening on the arm right, because his forearm would just be going towards the camera. I might give him ring. Make him a little bit more trendy. I don't really like how closed off he seemed. I needed that more like open vibe. So I think we're gonna go where we were earlier. Something like that. I want him to look loose. Like I said, focus is trying to make it look open, charming. And then with the lighting and the colors, we can kind of suggest like, oh, yeah, like don't actually trust him. I can't remember that I did a little bit of research. I think this one is also one of the oldest vampires in all of the characters I've designed. He is from just before the French Revolution. Is when he became is when he was born. And then after the French Revolution, during like Napoleon's I don't know if it's Napoleon's rise or like one Yeah, it was because during the French Revolution, he was just like a commander, like a really authoritative commander. And then after the revolution, it was like him consolidating power and becoming like a leader. So yeah, he was during the Napoleonic era. And specifically, he served during his invasion of Egypt. So, he was a certain term that is very outdated regarding his race. I think he is a quarter black, and his father was French. But yeah, so he kind of was inspired by the military troupe of Alexandre Dumas, father of the writer of the Count of Monte Cristo. If you have done any research about him, he is really cool as a historical figure. Started a black battalion with, I don't know if Lafayette, from American history. Well, he technically was a French person who came to America to help with our American Revolution. Like that's why he's an American historical figure, but also obviously French history too. And Chevalier Saint Georges. I don't know how they say it in French. And I only know Chevalier from Blood Plus. Oh, that's actually exactly correct. Saint Georges. Chevalier de Saint Georges. Also Joseph Bologna. I really hope that's not how you pronounce it. Bologna. I don't know French, but it's spelled kind of like bologna. Anyways, he was inspired by other prominent black military commanders, so he joined the military in the hopes that he may one day serve under Alexandre Dumas or Saint George, which he actually did during the invasion of Egypt. Now, he wasn't really much of a military guy. He kind of just it was one of the routes that seemed very obvious for him to gain any kind of like notoriety in society. Once again, he even in his human years, he was kind of like looking to get to that upper class. But if you know anything about French history, the upper class was kind of a complex thing during the French Revolution. Lots of beheadings going on then for anybody seeking nobility. I don't know particularly how that affected the upper echelon of the soldier class. I don't know if they were too affected by that, or if they were seen as more authentic than other nobles. I do know he came. A lot of the people I mentioned, Alexandre Dumas and Saint George, were super good. Lafayette as well. I think they were criticized a lot because they were kind of wealthy military people, so they would be a part of the revolution, but also try to preach some calming words of the nobility. Maybe not behead every rich person. And that got them a lot of flack, as they were seen as half maybe centrist-minded people during a time of glorious revolution and beheading. So yeah, that was a bit of a mess in that section there, which is unfortunate. Oh, this is really rough when you flip it. There's a lot of work I got to do to smooth things out. I didn't draw a stick figure in order to make sure the sizes was right on everything. Anyways, all three of those characters, Lafayette, Alexandre Dumas, and Chevalier Saint George, Joseph Boulogne. I don't know how to say his name. Sorry. I don't. As much as it hurts me to apologize to the French, I must apologize for my pronunciations. All three of those are like insanely interesting historical figures. Like, I haven't read any books about them, but I know that they have led like extremely unique lives. Like, there's even like history of the Chevalier Joseph St. George's. I don't know, but like stories of him like having sword fights during like the academy. They're in the military academy with like also a female swordsman who was like known for being like one of the best swordsmen despite being a woman during, you know, times when, you know, the women were only supposed to, you know, be, you know, less prominent in society, you know, not having as many rights, that kind of thing. You know, I said, you know, like 7 times for that sentence. What am I doing? Why does everything look wonky here? I think his like hips are extremely low because, once again, I didn't draw the anatomy before I drew the clothes. That happened. I tried to skip a step and now it's coming to bite me in the butt. Let me use. Like, he actually like he was considered like one of the finest swordsmen, and then he like, so like when he was fighting the woman, let me, if I can look it up real quick. It's on Wikipedia. Here it is. Le Chevalier. Fancy match. Le Chevalier. Oh, so this is interesting too. Little interesting period of French history. He was known for being a spy during the French Revolution. And one of the things about him is that he always wore dresses. He spied as a woman. And it was kind of one of the only outlets for him to express himself as a female, because he was one of the earliest historical figures. Sorry, let me take that back because I don't know enough about queer history. But he was a very early historical figure who was, you know, I don't know if cross-dresser is the right word. I think he actually did recognize as a woman. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he even went by a female, like female pronouns, during, again, the 1800s. You know, like, it's really insane, not to get political, but how like people act like people recognizing as transgender is like this new thing that like is being forced upon society, when it's like this has been a thing since maybe the start of history, not to mention like prehistoric civilizations that seem to have evidence of like third genders. Not the point. But he was also considered a very great swordsman, and they actually fought one another at one of those academies, and it was like a very famous like fight, because, you know, like two giant historical figures fighting and like actually being competitive. It's great. It's great. It's cool. I wish I knew more. I wish I could explain it better, but just now. The French Revolution is one of like the most incredible time periods, not only because of like how it affected the citizenry, how like philosophy was changed, different forms of government going from monarchy to democracy. I think I don't really know how to describe the period of madness, if it was like fascistic, because I knew Robespierre was like super crazy, you know, having the festivals and supreme being and all. But also because like around it, like everybody was like doing some kind of great move towards an entirely like different aspect. It's like the LGBT were having their own SWAS movement. the black people were fighting for recognition in society, all while the entire like central center of government was being completely gutted and transformed into like something entirely new and more egalitarian. Not completely egalitarian, because it still ended up becoming capitalism, but at least better than outright monarchy. Laws being ordained by a religious figure. Like French Revolution's great. I don't know if I've mentioned that. I don't know if I got that across. French Revolution's awesome. Anyways, I think I fixed this. I just lifted the hits a little bit higher. I could have drawn that, but sometimes it's just easier to like cut pieces apart and just merge them back together. So that's a fourth character you can look up, the Chevalier d'Aon. Okay, let's see if I can say this name. Charles Genevieve Louis Auguste Andre Timothy d'Aon de Beaumont, or Charlotte Genevieve Louise Augusta Andrea Timothy Timothea d'Aon de Beaumont. And he was also known as Chevalier d'Aon or Chevalier d'Aon. Anyway, that's enough French before like somebody literally bakes and like their brain just lights a flame. Is he centered? He's not set. Let me try to move him just a touch. A little bit closer to the center. Like I said, I want to keep this angle a little bit more simplistic. And by a little, I mean a lot. It's just a flat angle, no trippy camera lens. We're just gonna try to make maybe the background a little bit more interesting and dynamic. I think the only other thing I need to tweak is his arm needs to be a little higher. I was gonna have him like both arms leaning back, just chilling, just being chilling. But now that I think about it, I kind of want his arm to be lifted. I think I had it in the other piece. Let me pull that up. Why is it? Oh. Come on, move. Get out there. So you see in this one, his arm's actually like lifted, like he's offering the drink. And so that's what I'm gonna go for here. Oop. Go back to the... So one shoulder is gonna be obviously lifted because, simple gestures are still like complex movements between like several joints. So literally just lifting your arm will lift like 40% of your body. Not 40%, but you get what I'm saying. Like even just trying to lift the forearm up is very complex, like because it's gonna go to your shoulder, it's gonna go to your wrist, then also like a little bit of your trapezoid, your back. A lot of stuff, almost like too many muscles go into just lifting a cup. And like tilting it and all that. Your fingers, a lot of muscles, a lot of things move. Don't know if you know this, the body is a complex. I think this is good. Like it's definitely lifting, but I'm not sure if it's lifting the right way. Because it kind of just looks like he's holding it out in front of him instead of above. So maybe lift the cup higher. We're gonna keep it stick figures this time. I think maybe like eye level. Maybe like right there. See if I can make this work with the pose. This is gonna be a little annoying because it's gonna be going towards the camera, so he's gonna look like he has a really short arm. You can kind of push it out by doing that. This makes no sense because it's like a blob. I'm still trying to like just like force out the shape. too high. How do... Okay, I think I see the issue. Hold on. We gotta keep it low, but the cup high. We go low, or we go 1, we lift the cup high. I don't know why I try to do like the Q thing. And in a mocking way. I don't want anybody to get real confused because I watch too much politics. So like my brain is always on like political stuff. I should watch more art streams instead of political streams. That might do me better. He's so wonky. You know what, let's just try to work this out. We're only in the sketch phase, so it really doesn't matter if it matches up too much, but maybe dealing with it now will make it easier. Hello? Everything got laggy for a second. Okay. I'm not supposed to be going into facial details this early, but I'm gonna try to get the smile at least a little bit more symmetrical. And the jawline as well. There's a reason why I was bringing up his history. Oh, that's right. Okay, so last I left off in his history. He wants to prove himself in the military, despite not actually being much of a military guy. So he enlists with the hopes of eventually becoming a part of the Black Battalion, which was an all-black military regiment, created by the Chevalier Saint George is Joseph Boulogne, and Alexander Dumas. So he hopes to, eventually be part of that battalion. I think they ended up getting disbanded. There was a big military shift after the French Revolution, obviously. And unfortunately, Napoleon was not as friendly as previous members to allow such a thing. He allowed them to remain like a thing, but he kind of just hated them. So any slight he could give them, he would go out and do it. And despite that, they still actually performed pretty darn well. I think their mistakes were kind of just put it out there. If they made any kind of strategic mistakes, if they didn't win a battle, then Napoleon would go out of his way to report on that. But then whenever they had successes, it would kind of be whatever, who cares? What am I supposed to do? Give you a cookie? That kind of thing. So Napoleon, not so great about respecting military generals who were, of a certain color. Which, I mean, isn't unique of that time period, so, was an unfortunate aspect of that historical period. But, I don't know if anybody was a Napoleon lover. Hate to break it to you. He's kind of a douche. Politically, military-wise, just not a great guy. This is a very bad smile, but at least it's symmetrical-ish. What just happened? Hold on, let me try move the camera a bit. If I can find the right hotkey. There we go. I want him a little bit more towards the center, so when I flip him, it doesn't completely change everything. Anyways, so it was already disbanded by the time he enlisted in the military, but he would eventually still manage to serve under Alexander Dumas. He was brought out of retirement to help Napoleon in his invasion of Egypt. I don't think it was successful. They did have like success, like they did manage to take over Cairo, which is like the capital of Egypt at the time. I believe. If you know anything about what's going on in Egypt right now, they're actually in the middle of moving their capital away from Cairo. It's a very nasty thing because they are under a pretty terrible government leadership. It's there. I think it's an attempt. Why am I describing Vox videos that I've seen? But yeah, not the point. They took over Cairo, but it took a lot of people, and they weren't able to keep it very well because it's a foreign country in an entirely different type of climate with an entirely different type of people that also Napoleon doesn't respect really. Anyways, but yeah, he served under Alexander Dumas, and similarly to Alexander Dumas, he got lost. It's an entirely different climate to what the French military is used to. A lot of people go missing, and that includes Talib, who wasn't even that much of a soldier to begin with. Kind of looks like Marxo. What's his name? Is his name Marxo? No, not Marco, actor. Oh, it's that like goofy guy with a mustache. Old comedian. Glasses. His nose, is that an appropriate thing to type? Nose. Groucho Marx. I literally remembered it as soon as I typed in enter. Like I didn't even have to see the name. Anyways, he kind of looks like Groucho Marx right now. But that's okay. That's actually kind of like a certain vibe that I want to go for, like the goofy nerd look. I don't even think Groucho Marx was like a nerd. He just had glasses. I think he's more actually like a chauvinist. But I actually have never watched a single thing from him. So, who knows? I watched a few very old things, but not Groucho. I think I watched like one Charlie Chaplin movie. Then I've watched the Robert Downey like biography picture. Cause I like Robert Downey. Kind of goofy in his older age, but that's fine. And ain't nothing wrong with being goofy. I'm zoomed in. Let me not stop doing that. Anyway, so he gets lost in the desert of Egypt. Are there deserts in Egypt? I know there's a kind of like that classic trope of like thinking of the entire Middle East as Middle East and certain parts of Africa is desert. And I know for a fact Egypt is not just desert. But I'm pretty sure it still like connects to like a desert. So like it's not completely unreasonable to say. Like literally just looking up Egypt has like a tons of pictures of desert. Map. Just trying to see which parts of it actually are desert. Oasis. Oasi. Okay, yeah. So there's plenty of desert near that area. Anyways, I think like just after the rebellion in Cairo, which was like 1817, he gets lost in the desert, and he is found after passing out in the heat of the desert by a certain kindred. I think he was from the Dark Ages. Alex. Oh, whoops. There, it's actually showing me Christian ministers. Ministry. What's that? Something with the name. Andreas Egypt. That's his sire, which is like an actual Vampire the Masquerade character. I did have some characters with sires that I made up, and then some characters with sires that aren't made up. It's like very deeply connected to Vampire the Masquerade lore. And in this case, is one of the more famous Setite characters. I think the most famous is what's his name? It's also a guy with like the round glasses. See if I can find him. I should probably focus on actually designing the character instead of looking up random lore. But alas. Here I am. Nope, I'm not finding him. Hold on, I think I know another way to find him. Like 2 seconds. Signature character. Vampire the Masquerade. Set. There he is. Hesha Ruhadze? Ruhadze? Was he in Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines? No, he wasn't. Okay. This is him in Vampire the Masquerade. I don't know if I think this might be 2nd edition. Anyways, but yeah, I think that's a Leaf owns. Who's the artist? I like his art. Might be talking out of turn. Not the point. Anyways, that's like the most famous follower set. And in the new lore, it's actually explained that he, even though like the ministry, the followers of Set have changed into the ministry, he still calls himself a follower of Set. So, you know, there's a bit of rivalry between old school and new school. Anyways. Why is there 2 of these? When did I copy it? Okay. What is... I'm on the wrong layer. Blast. Imagine me being on the wrong layer. Never happened. I'm always on the right layer. Never. Still a little uneven, but he's a little bit closer to center now. Okay, let's do some work on. I think this pose is good with his the main arm that I'm working on. I think it's got like enough of a offering vibe where he's kind of like raising it to like say like, yes, I see you and I want to talk to you. In very simple terms. Anyways, he ends up getting lost in the desert and he's found by Andreas Aegyptus. He's a Dark Age Setite, so he's a super old character. And you know, he saves him, and he wakes up in a temple, and he explains that like, I have found you, and now you owe your life, and I will show you the way of the snake. trains him for a few years in Egypt, completely lost. You know, like by this time, I think the French have gone back to worrying about France instead of trying to take over Egypt. I'm not sure. I don't know the full history about there. That's about where I stopped in order to focus on the character. And after like 2 years, he is given the curse. He is finally a vampire. And he's given the task of, you know, starting a cult during the age of the madness, you know, when a lot of the beheadings are going on. Religion has kind of like a weird vibe around then. I think Napoleon III is in charge at this point. I'm getting all the history wrong now because I think I've skipped over like 100 years. So let me dial things back. So he tries for a couple, certain amount of years, creating religion. He's actually really good at getting followers, but like I said, he was never really much for the military because he was very distracted by the actors of society. He got very connected to the theater scene, and so like a lot of him actually wanted to be an actor, or you know, be around acting troupe. But everything told him to go into the military, and then after getting a taste of the military, he realized he's not built for the military. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that he gets distracted by the whole seducing people thing. So he's very good at getting people to follow him and seducing them into, at the time, this Setite religion. But then he wouldn't be able to make any moves as far as like power. Like he wouldn't be able to do anything with his followers because he would get distracted and just have more fun, you know, wasting time at the theater, drinking, getting more followers. Eventually it would fall apart, and his big mistake, and this is a rumor, is that he may have had a little thing for a certain actress who was also a certain thing for Napoleon III. So the Napoleon III ended up giving more power to, I think, the Catholic, and because of the rising, the reemergence of the religion in France, with the invitation of, you know, and blessing of Napoleon III, it ended up pushing a lot of the kindred out of that society. So it was a resounding failure of trying to bring the Setites religion to prominence. Partially, almost entirely, thankfully, to Talib's philandering with the nobles of society. So he's actually kind of considered like really big shame. He's kind of known in the especially amongst the old school Setites around this period, like the 1800s to 1900s, for being kind of one of the bigger screw ups. So he kind of just lingers around the edges of like acting society in order to just. One second. In order to just, you know, feed off of that society, because that's honestly all he wanted in the first place. You know, there was high hopes for him because he's very effective at gathering a following, very effective at being attractive to that kind of society. You know, like the acting people. Let's see, actors, actresses. Media people, so you know, like the lawyers that go on those, the agents of those society. He's very effective at being friendly with those types, rubbing shoulders with those types. But then when it comes to actually like enacting any power that he has over people, that's when he kind of like, he doesn't really care. He likes the gathering. He likes the being able to push them into doing what he likes, but he doesn't really pushed him for the clan, you know, like he doesn't really do anything for the Setites, which in today's society is actually fine. Like it's the individual followers of the ministry are a little different now that there's kind of like a reawakening and what's the word? Whenever you like change your brand name. Anyways, that's basically what they did. They changed they changed their name. They're rebranding, kind of like having like a new philosophy. The old school Setites don't exactly agree with that, but you know, they realize that it's a way to gather more followers. So you know, and he is too, and Talib is also taking advantage of this like rebranding in order to kind of make it a little bit more like, you know, we gather more followers, and you know, you don't necessarily have to do it just for a death god in you know, in Egypt. You can also just gather more followers because that's what gets you off in your unlife. Okay. All right, let's see if I can change things right now. I think that's good enough for like a very, very simplified first iteration. So I want to group everything together. I want to make him a little bigger. And by a little, I mean a lot. I thought I grabbed everything. I just realized this could actually move closer to here. And then he can get moved, or well, everything can get moved. Let's actually make everything a little bigger. So that's what it was before, and that's what it is now. Just have. Hello? Oh, okay. I was about to say. Never mind. It didn't save any of the increasing in size that I tried to do. Oh my goodness. Sorry, I'm trying to change things around. Made everything bigger, made him bigger, made the background a little smaller so it could fit everything in. All the while keeping everything in focus. As far as like keeping to the rule of thirds. Alright. I'm gonna lower his opacity. I'm gonna do him again, just a little bit cleaner. We need a smaller pencil, maybe just like 10. Why is it not making any mark? No, for some reason it wants 2% opacity. I'm gonna try to get the face right. Because his face is kind of just too plain. I'm trying to get for like a little bit of a lower glance so you can get that sinister look where it's like he's got plans. He's plotting something. And doing that thing, you know, like some people, you always see characters with glasses doing like art in comics where they look over their glasses for whatever reason, you know, it's hitting you with that. Just hitting you with one of them anime just looks. Makes him look a little evil. Like the character from Bleach, Aizen. Let me double check before I sound stupid. Yeah, Aizen. You know, like that glasses character that ends up being actually super evil. Spoilers for Bleach, by the way. If you don't know about that very famous reveals. So anyway, yeah, he fails in France. He ends up leaving in shame. He travels the world with his child. The Andreas Aegyptus is his sire. He ends up having two children is the word. So it's him, and then there's another character I think was introduced in V5. It was like Paris, another like Paris guy. Wow, this is like immediately way better. He was like Groucho Marx, and now he's like stud. This smile might be too big. I always want teeth to be like almost like impossible not to look at, but it's like so hard when they're this size. I might end up making this way bigger by the end of it, just so like the teeth get a little bit more prominent. Monaco is like the perfect one because like you could very clearly see your teeth because like her face was so much bigger than the rest of her body. Since like the camera angle was like distorted, just smiles a little bit too sinister, but we'll work on it. Anyways, he leaves in shame and he ends up traveling with his fellow childer for a little while because he also does pretty well. They're both like very interested in the trying to like redefine the ministry. So he travels to Paris, he travels to Spain, he travels to Portugal. He basically goes anywhere where like the art scene and the specifically like the theater scene is really big. So he goes eventually he goes on to America. He goes to he stays in Chicago for starts in New York, goes to Chicago, goes to the Broadway scene. Then around like the 70s, he goes to Hollywood because that's, you know, very obvious that he, you know, if he's for actors, he eventually goes to Hollywood, you know, the land of broken dream or whatever they say. I think it's like the land of dreams where dreams are made, but like everybody knows LA and Hollywood and all that is very warped, which is perfect for somebody like Talib. Lots of people who are willing to break their morals for their goals, which is exactly what he thrives on. He looks a little too young. Almost looks like I think it's because his head is tiny. Before I go any further, let me try making his head. His head is like astonishingly tiny. Usually I have the exact opposite problem with characters. Why are you locked? Okay. Alright. So I just want to make sure the face was like well drawn because that ends up being like distracting when I try to do the rest of the body. For me at least. Like, no, the brush can stay that size. Yeah, and I think and right now he's kind of like he's getting a little tired of being in LA. He's getting a little tired of his current mask. His like human name that he uses as a decoy is Hannibal. Hannibal. I have his name written down somewhere. I think it's on this reference sheet. No, it's not. Hannibal. Let's just say Hannibal. Obviously, I named him after another certain Carthaginian. When it gets to Romans, once again, I like to make those little connections because I find the idea of Rome versus Carthage being this really early anarch versus Camarilla thing. Really interesting to me. Well, I mean, remember the Masquerade is pretty popular. I imagine that's interesting to a lot of people. Obviously. I didn't draw the anatomy before, but we're gonna do that now. Now that I have like the pose kind of drawn out, I can get the body down pretty well. That way I can appropriately show his physique. Because once again, I want him to kind of like hide his musculature and strength. Like I said, like he's supposed to look like a schlubby little nerd, you know, very comfortable, but trendy enough that he's not like completely socially awkward and dead, but also not like so socially adept that you like you would be aware that you could be manipulated. Because there's that kind of thing where you're like, if you have like somebody that looks a little bit socially awkward, you can be a little bit more comfortable because you know they're not probably, you know, just as uncomfortable as you. You know, like you don't know what you're doing, they don't know what they're doing. You can be a little bit more relaxed and try to make each other comfortable. That's what he's going for. If you go to somebody that's very like socially adept when you're a little bit socially awkward, you can have like this intimidation where it's like you don't want to bother them. At least if you're not confident, like me, and I assume most other nerdy people. No, there are some nerdy people who are super cool and super charming, and I hate. No. Let me relax. I'm just jealous. You know, like jealous like everybody else. We all have her. So yeah, that's where he's like specifically trying to make himself look socially awkward, kind of like Clark Kent, where he tries to make himself look like just like a feeble little nerd, despite being built like a tank, because you know he's actually Superman. Except this guy isn't Superman; he is just a creepy vampire. I try to do this with so this character, like I mentioned before, the Ministry kind of have like a rivalry, at least I think they do, where they're both like seducer vampires. So this character is actually has like a bit of a rivalry with my Toreador character, Connor. Let me go and pull him out because I like looking at this piece a lot. Do I have him? Have I opened him recently? Yes, I have. No, his name's not Connor, is it? It is Connor. Yeah, Connor. So what I try to do with him is that because like I'm trying to make everybody like gray, this would be like the very obvious trope of like the lover type vampire where he like seduces people all the time. But he gets into like the abusive boyfriend type personality, where he kind of makes everybody he seduces feels like they've been gaslit and like emotionally abused. And it's kind of this thing that he actually deals with too, where he knows he does it, he feels like a monster, and he even like turns that into his own poetry, where he writes about like how he feels like this monster that only hurts the people around him and he shouldn't be trusted, but he still gets trusted anyways just because he's, you know, like handsome or very charming. It's very a little incelly maybe, but that's the thing where it's like you're not supposed to like this character, you know, like he gives off like the loner, like no one understands the pain kind of vibes, but in reality he's kind of just irresponsible douche nozzle, you could call him. And you know, that's kind of like the complexity of like that balance of like, do you even want to like this character, even though like there is like aspects to him that is trying to do the right thing, like the amount of people that he hurts and the fact that he avoids responsibility for the people he's supposed to that trust him. You know, like it really is kind of just warped, where it's just like he's just hurtful. He just hurts the people that trust him. But does him feeling bad about him make that good at all? The answer is not really. Like he's still kind of just a monster. He's just a monster that's aware of it. Anyways. So he feuds with him, Talib, because they're both really good at seducing people for, you know, different reasons. So specifically, it's a little bit one-sided, where Connor just hates Talib. He just finds Talib annoying. But Talib thinks it's a little bit more fun and playful, where it's like, you know, like he's kind of aware of the type of person Connor is, you know, like the emotionally abusive, the gaslighting, the girl bossing, the gatekeeping. He doesn't girl boss or gatekeep, as he's a male, unfortunately. Very cringe to be male. Sorry, I'm getting lost. What am I talking about? So he'll kind of like goad him and like push his buttons into like competing with him, and also kind of mock him. And he does not like it. But there's that thing where it's like he knows everything about what is going on is morally wrong, yet he still chooses to participate. He isn't able to like divest from this argument. So like, even though he doesn't see this as a rivalry, he sees him as nothing but annoying, and like, but he'll still play along with this game. So like, they'll sometimes compete with each other to like who can seduce either the most people or the most difficult person. And despite the fact that Talib treats it like a game, like he's just having fun. He likes the chaos. He doesn't care about like who he hurt. Connor, at least, is supposed to. But he still does it. He still plays that game where he's like, okay, well, even if I don't, you know, like this game that he's playing, he's gonna try to win. And that also goes into like the guilt that he'll like that Talib will pile onto it. Where he'll let him know, like, you know, like you pretend like you don't like this game that we play, but you know, you also refuse to let me win. You know, he probably could just win if he wanted to, but he likes breaking Connor a little bit more, like just goading him, you know. Like I really like the idea of like that kind of rivalry, that kind of pushing each other's buttons into like, that's exactly what Talib is about, you know. Like it's about like forcing people to look at their boundaries that they set. Like Connor is at least aware of what would be the morally right thing to do. And he likes forcing Connor to, you know, break that, you know, like break his own moral. Because in reality, Connor doesn't follow his morals. He always chooses to break his own morals, which is why he's kind of a monster. You know, like he has that loner, you know, like, no one understands me, but I'm actually like secretly a hero kind of vibe. And Talib likes to show him like, no, you are just a monster. You are just a guy who likes to play games and hurt the people that trust him. And then what does that make Talib? He doesn't know, and he doesn't care. He's having fun. I think he's a little bit more aware that he's just a monster as well. Sorry, I keep touching my mouth. I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, I really like this, the idea of that dynamic. They literally use people as pawns because they're vampire. And that's the thing about Vampire the Masquerade. They're literally very like they use people as cattle, and their humanity like juts against that, like it brushes up against that. It's kind of about like how messy it can be trying to keep those things in balance, their beastly nature, their insidious nature with like whatever like is left of their human side that still tries to hang on to whatever morals they have. And Talib specifically likes teasing that out of other vampires, where he likes to find that little bit of humanity and try to like get them to break it, get them to like realize like, hey, you aren't a human, you aren't this immoral being, you are a monster, and just, you know, like kind of have fun with that. And that's why it's really hard to get the Ministry characters like to be morally good, because like everything about them is just like kind of just like warped and evil, where they like to make it so vampires can't even be like these moral beings. It's like this weird thing where it's like a Rorschach from Watchmen, where it's like he's very much not a good hero, but in this like super nasty world, he is almost the best of everybody, because like he doesn't pretend like he's a hero at all. Like he knows he's like a monster, but at least he's not a monster like Ozymandias or Dr. Manhattan, who has all this ability to do the morally right thing, but will manipulate everybody around them instead. Will lie to everybody around them for the sake of what they think is best. I'm putting on the clothes now. You can stop enjoying his physical anatomy. Let me do this on another layer, just so we don't have to like erase anything. I think anatomically he looks pretty good. His pelvis might be a little long, and you know, that's fine. Some people have long pelvis. Ooh, good stretch. This one might not be one of the longer ones. I think I'm gonna try to just finish the sketch lines, and then we're gonna call it. So maybe we trace over it one more time. We'll see. We'll see how clean this one comes out. We can turn off the other layer. Just focus on getting clothes on this lad. Now, when it comes to Talib and how he likes to try to like redefine the Ministry, his thing is that he wants to break people's inhibitions in order to achieve their goals, so, you know, like what they want to do in life. And at least that's how he justifies it. So like a lot of people end up getting hurt because sometimes their inhibitions are right, you know, like the things that are telling them to stop and, you know, not do things is actually what protects them from hurting themselves. And Talib is interested and wants you to break that, even if it gets you hurt. So like, you know, don't go to that party because you might end up getting drunk, but it also might get you the connections you need to have success in your career. He's going to tell you to go to that party, and even if you get hurt at the party, he still thinks it's a good thing, because at least you're going for you're breaking those moral chains in order to or you know, whatever chains are trying to keep you safe, to go for your goals, which will, you know, like make you happy. But, you know, what do you sacrifice in the name of that? That part, he doesn't care. He doesn't care what you sacrifice, so long as you're trying to get your goals done. And in his mind, that's a good thing. You know, like that's better than, you know, holding onto your morals that, you know, sometimes protect you and sometimes don't. He's never been much for. He thinks that they only hold you back. So he's trying to help other people spread their wings. And at least in his head. That's how he justifies it in his head. In his other conversations with Kindred, he'll explain that to them, where he tries to get people to be the best people they are by breaking whatever holds them back. You know, whatever doubts that they have in their head that hold them back. And in reality, that works out for some people, and other people, it's not great. You know, like sometimes that inhibition is the only thing that protects. But again, he doesn't care. He just wants you to go out however you. He doesn't care if he. I mean, he doesn't really consider, you know, like sometimes those things that hold you back are, you know, important aspects of your personality as well. There is that argument of that people have where it's like, which one is the real you? The drunk person, does that just reveal who you are on the inside? I personally don't like that, because I feel like the desire to hold back a part of your personality is also an aspect of your personality. You know, that's a very like personal choice. That's a very personal feeling on that. It's kind of like what do you think happens in the afterlife? It's like, what do you think is like the real you? You know, me, I think, you know, however you present yourself is the real you. But some people think whatever's on the inside, and the only way to see what's on the inside is either reading your mind or you being drunk enough to act on your own decisions. He would be of the latter, you know, like he thinks, you know, the whatever is on the inside is more important than whatever inhibitions cause you to protect yourself. I think that's interesting. It's like it's a philosophy. It's a belief system. And I'd like to see other vampires like try to like survive in a world where he's manipulating things. It's like, should they just like kill him and like Twitch, relax, we're talking about cartoon characters. These aren't actual people. Would they try to like stamp him out and try to like because you know, like he would be interfering with plans where he would get important pawns to remove themselves from the table. He's kind of a troublemaker in that way, but he also sets things up for people. So like one of the other characters, the La Sombra character that I have, he's actually good friends with that character, and the character's name is going to be Maurice. He's good friends with Maurice because he actually is the one that invited him to America to get set up in, you know, the nightclub. And Maurice isn't dumb, you know, like the entire time he sees what kind of person Talib is, and he's keeping like a very close eye on it. Keeping like very tight. You know, he owes basically his entire like operations in America to Talib, and he's very aware of that, and he's trying to like every conversation he has with Talib, he's like trying to figure out like what is his goal, what is he plotting with, you know, this ownership that he has over my property and my business. And I don't know if Talib even knows why he's doing this. I think he just, once again, just like teasing people into like going a little crazy, and what laws and morals he can force them to break. Not even force them, like just to give them a little nudge. That's all he needs to do. Give him a little nudge in a certain direction. And that's usually all he needs to do in order to get people to enact on their inhibitions, their inner desire. So yeah, that's he's a very fun character to play around with, and like the background of the lore inside of my head. And then you also put on top of that he's like so like historically connected. He's a very nice character. I love the character. Not yet my favorite. He's close to the top though. Like he's maybe like second or third place of like all of my favorite characters that I've all of my favorite OCs that I've created. And it might just be because of the French Revolution and connections. The French Revolution's awesome. I just realized my door wasn't shut all the way. Me personally, I think it'd be kind of fun to have people of the ministry wear the round glass. I think they have like a very visual signifier of being like some kind of like trippy, thoughtful character, some kind of like sage character. I think it starts with like Morpheus from The Matrix. You know, that like round glasses kind of look. But like you'll see a lot in like movies, like the villain type characters will have these like round glasses, and they'll be like watching things from the background. I don't know why that is, but I like, so, you know, it's like one of those visual codes, you know, like the puffed up collar being like the bad boy. It's like, why is it? What is the bad boy about like having a puffed up collar? You know, it's a part of the shirt. You know, it's meant to, you know, be manipulated however you like. But for some reason in visual language that says bad, you know, like that, a renegade. How many pins does this jacket have? Is it just 3 buttons? His vest. Yeah, just 3 buttons. And then he has pockets. Real pockets, not fake pockets. I wonder if we can go bigger. Let me see. Is that big enough? Sorry, didn't mean to clap that loud. See if we can go bigger. This size feels really good for like that kind of like seeing somebody through the crowd kind of distance. It's like they're not super close to you, and you like him lifting the glass will just be enough for you to realize, oh, he's like staring at me. But like this, this is a little bit too close. Like if somebody's lifting your glass from this far, it's like, oh yeah, like he can just say hi and you'll probably already hear you. You don't need to like raise the glass like that. At least that's what's going on in my head. I think this is just a much better distance. So I'm wondering if maybe we should just go like a slightly bigger instead of just like really big. So maybe just like a step between these two. Yeah, this still keeps it in. I feel that still keeps it like a good enough distance for a stranger. You know, like you're not usually that close to a stranger who's staring at you without you like being a part of the conversation. Usually that doesn't happen. If you make contact with a stranger that's literally like this close and you're not talking to him, that's a weird moment. That's weird, you know. It's being like up against somebody like, hi. Just like nose to nose and just be like, oh, hi. That's weird. If you say hi, be like at least a little distance, you know, like maybe like from here to across the room, just hi, and then, you know, invite them over. I don't know why I'm talking like I know how conversations work. I barely talk to people. Like I'm like the most awkward starter when it comes to conversation, or like I won't talk to you for hours. And then like I'll be like, hi. And then after I get that first few conversations, then I'll relax a bit and actually be able to like have a conversation. But before that, I'm literally like closed off. I'm like so reserved. And then like after like 30 seconds of conversation, I can get right into it where I'm like, you know, I'm joking and blah, blah, blah. It's like getting that like first conversation point is so hard for me. No, I'll fix all that later. I think my microphone's a little loose. This microphone stands like $10, by the way. I have like a lot of like little gadgets and stuff. Okay, so we are almost at that 2-hour mark. Should I keep going? Probably. We'll see. Oh, I'm super far away. Let me zoom in. Yeah, I think this is a good distance. It's also a solid size for like actually getting details into the character. So this is great. You won't be able to see his Air Force Ones, but we'll survive. Do I have Air Force Ones? Is that what I drew on there? Oh yeah, he's rocking them Air Force One. I think I gave them like a random like marks on them so it doesn't look exactly like Nikes, but they're Nikes. They're Nikes. We all know what we're looking at. I just copied them from Miles Morales because I thought he had cool shoes. Oh no, this erase layer. I don't know why I move it, but they don't move the erase layer. Just gonna do this with my mouse. Was there an acting scene in London? Because everybody knows Hollywood. Was London like ever a point, like ever like a thing? I know there are movies from England. That's not what I'm asking. But I'm wondering if it was ever like a scene where like, you know, people dedicate themselves, or there's like a dedicated location to where people are like always making movies. Usually they just go to Toronto if they want that city feel. But, you know, also want better tack. He's thinking about Arizona. Because I think I've heard that Arizona is becoming like making moves to becoming a huge film industry center. So Talib's kind of seeing the writing on the walls. LA's kind of losing a lot of people, and he's kind of thinking about going to Arizona. He's not going to Texas. He's not that crazy. He's not the Joe Rogan type of crazy. Especially with the, never mind. No politics. We're not getting into that again. Not that I'm trying to hide that, but you know, it can be annoying to just talk about politics. Being too politically brained. There we go. Alright. He's in there. We can turn him off. And turn me on. Gross. Okay. Should we go for a clean sketch? I think we're kind of good. Like, I think this is detailed enough that we don't have to really worry about making things clean until the inking stage. I don't know if there's too much we gotta tweak. Maybe the arm? I'm gonna duplicate the player. So we can tweak this without having to worry about the original line. Or like, I don't have to cut it out of multiple layers, it's just all one layer. Beep, 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 bop. Control X, Control V. I'm gonna get this. Hello, hello? What just happened? Oh, I didn't merge them. There we go. Grab this tool, pop. Gonna make the center at the middle of the arm, that way we can manipulate it. Here, just we don't nothing too great. Maybe even make it move it in 3D space a little bit. I think I just need to relax the fingers. That's the only thing that's like kind of trippy. Because his fingers are kind of like torqued up right now. He's like Thundercat. His fingers just all thrown up like 7 gang signs at once. I'm talking about Thundercat. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Thundercat when he's playing his bass, but like his fingers get really crazy. I think I saw like a meme that was doing his hands look like they're throwing up gang signs while playing guitar, because like he just gets them like all curled up in like 7 different directions. It's crazy. He's insanely talented. The hair is going to be really hard. The hair is always hard for me to draw for this character because obviously it has a very specific shape, and also I like to like really pronounce how curly his hair is. Like he has very like wild hair. His hair just like all curls. Ooh. I love how I just finished my coffee and like I still have like so much tiredness behind my eyes. That's a good sign. That's a good sign that I'm always tired. Trying to find the right size for a pint. As I've mentioned before, I don't really drink, so I don't really know where you grab it on the glass and how far before it becomes like completely unbalanced. Like obviously you don't grab a cup by like the bottom here. Like it would be like towards like here, I think. It doesn't have a handle like this one does. So yeah, that feels good. Like I think that's where they intend for you to grab the cup. So then him offering it like that is, you know, it would make sense. One second. All right, I'm back. Sorry, I got family that are the type to like ask you to come all the way across the house to see a meme. It looks unbalanced, but I'm not sure, like, I'm supposed to fix that because, like, everything's where it's supposed to be. Like, his pose isn't, like, super balanced. I guess it's just supposed to be, like, so not everything's so lopsided. He's not too bad right now. Obviously, his center balance is fine. Like, he's just straight. But he's actually bi. Huh. It's not actually a joke. He's bi, but it's kind of, like, he's a vampire. Like, it's whatever. I don't know if any of the previous editions, I haven't read any of, like, the old Vampire the Masquerade stories have it. So, like, anybody's, like, super strict on relationships. I think most of them are pretty open about it. Or I guess they would just, like, carry whatever preferences they had and begin with. But you know how it is. Like, they try to write them so they're, like, above human. So kind of like being above, like, a lot of that simple morality, or, you know, those fears. Not as in, like, one is more moral than the other, you know, sexual preference. But, you know. This kind of that thing where, like, they don't even see, like, relationships as, like, a thing anymore, or they're not supposed to. But no one ever does that. Like, they're supposed to be above falling in love at all, but, like, everybody writes it so, like, vampires fall in love anyways. You know, like Edward Cullen, they're like, he's so old that, like, he doesn't even feel connected to the humans around him anymore. Like, he goes to high school just for the cover, but, like, he falls in love anyways with Bella. So it's kind of just like, oh yeah, vampires don't feel emotion anymore. They're nothing but cold-blooded killers these days. Yeah, I mean, that was one of the issues they always had. But I mean, it's not like they're gonna do, like, it's not like Bela Lugosi's vampire was like, oh yeah, I'm above falling in love with mortals. It's like, that's the point of Dracula. Like, he's falling in love with regular women and just, like, making them also into his vampires so he can marry them. It's like, this has always been a thing. Don't worry. The sparkly stuff, I'll give you that one. That's silly. You know, the sparkly, glittery skin. This is a skin of a killer. That's goofy. As much as it's not that fun to make fun of Twilight anymore. We can still make fun of the fact that they're glittery vampires. That is silly. As much as I've, like, come to terms with that, you know, like, I'm not a super try-hard vampire Twilight hater anymore. I still think it's really goofy. Some people have gone a little bit too far where they're like, oh, there's actually, you know, like, Twilight's actually, like, a super serious movie, you know, you were all wrong and it shouldn't be made fun of. It's like, well, no, it's still got its, like, very goofy moments, like the skin, you know, like some of the lines, you know, like, well, a lot of the lines actually, but I will say it has, like, a certain feel to it where it's like, it's actually kind of fun to watch. It's, like, not good, but it isn't so awful that you can't watch it. It actually is, like, interesting in its own way. I don't know what to describe it. It's not like a so bad it's good either. Like, it's kind of just, like, just got a certain feel to it that's very fun. But I think that might just be, like, because vampires are just always fun, and they're always interesting. The melodrama. I think maybe in the later movies it does get a little bit, like, I think it becomes, like, a little bit. It loses a lot of its supernatural stuff for, like, sappy romance. Which, I mean, you know, obviously there are going to be people who are into that. Instead of, like, the mystery, the suspense, the almost horror of, like, some moments where it's like, this person has, like, this scary energy, like, all of that's gone by, like, the further movies. And I do think it's kind of interesting that they almost have, like, action in, like, the near the end, where it's, like, almost like an action movie where they have, like, physical wars, people being beheaded and, like, shredded apart. I mean, that's in the first movie too, but, like, it's so out there and so, like, distant, except for, like, maybe the climax, obviously, because, you know, they behead and burn one, like, the main antagonist. Anyway, I'm not trying to defend Twilight anyways. That's not what my goal here. So what I'm also gonna do is I'm gonna make everybody blurry. I wonder if I can like chalk these people, these people in the foreground in. Let me lift them up. Because this is also going to be another one of those moments where the main character is like completely has their own line art and everything, and then everything else in the background is just going to be freeform and unline arted. That was a terrible use of the word. I just realized her pose should be like backward because it's supposed to be a woman, and nobody walks hunched. All right, sorry. Most people don't walk like super hunched back like that. It's usually kind of the reverse. Especially when like they wear heels because that like cocks their pelvis forward. I still don't think that pose is just right, but it's a little bit better. I'm thinking about like probably like putting like a blur there too, so they can fade into the background a little better. Just using all the tools I can to get the right amount of focus and everything. So think about this still feels wrong with her. Do I need to look up a picture of a woman walking? I really hope I don't. I like to think that I know a little better than that. She looks really goofy right now. Okay. It's kind of like she's turning around. I don't know. I actually need to add. So, I don't know why I said there we go. Like I'm done. Like I'm not. She's. I think this is. But I think I'm gonna leave that there, and then I'm gonna try to like fix the anatomy later. I think I just want to get like the general pose down. I think I got mixed up. I think that's supposed to be the back arm that's behind her right now, but we're gonna just say that that's what it is for now. Then let's do like the background too. Fade them out. Let's do the background like that too. Maybe a bartender over here, but like they're gonna be like super shadowy and like they're not gonna be paying attention to the character. like I said, like I want this to be like a moment where like they're completely in public, but I think maybe like his specific like his supernatural draw will be like almost making it feel like she is alone with him despite being in a completely crowded room. Like something is drawing them to him. Because it's open to interpretation whether or not the character staring is going to be a woman or man. He's going to be flirting with them either way, or seducing him, I guess is the better word. I really like this cloudy back. Very good sells the effect really well. I might go ahead and call it there. Maybe. I think I'll leave the next stream to like clean it up just even further. Well, before we finish, let's just fix the fade. See if we can like really clean this up, because this part's gonna be very particular. This is gonna be needed to be done in a very particular. That's what I'm trying to say. Turn that into an eraser on accident. And I will, with the lighting, make his eyes very bright. I think what I really want is like, I don't know how other artists are able to do it. They have like these really like dark tone palettes, and literally like there'll be like a glow in the back of their pupils, like the size of a decimal. And somehow it will be the most like focused part of the image. I have no idea how these artists are able to do it. I'm gonna see if I can find an example, and I'll try to credit the artist if I find one. But like I see so many artists that are able to like get this like set it up where it's like they're very like everything is just dark, everything is gloomy, and like all they need to do is just a tiniest little highlight in the back of their eyes, and it'll be so sharp to me. Like my eyes will like lock onto it so quickly. Kind of like this. I almost don't want to credit this artist because they're so popular. Let me try to find a different one, because that one's actually not exactly what I'm looking for. They don't have the exact look that I was going for. It looked more like they just had glowing eyes, which is different. What I'm specifically talking about is different. It's almost like in Blade Runner. If you watch Blade Runner, like all the android characters will have like a reflective part of their eye, and that's how you tell like they're like metal eyes, or at least I think that's the vibe that they're supposed to give off. Is this artist do it? No, that's just a bunch of lewd drawings. Don't go to my DeviantArt, by the way. Don't look at my favorite. Well, go to my DeviantArt, but don't look at my favorite. Definitely go to my DeviantArt. Let me take that back. I'd really appreciate it. Just please, for your own sake, for your own safety, don't go to my favorites page. Sorry, this is gonna be me googling stuff for like the last 5 minutes. I'm sorry, but like I really want to like talk about this. I know I have one in here because I love to see it, and I see it often. Maybe it's in my reference, because that's where I put like art that I specifically want to be able to like replicate, or like some aspect of the drawing. Some aspect of like the art style. Sorry, I'm not doing anything right now. I'm just looking. I'm trying to find one piece of art that does it. Please, I'm begging. I am literally pleading. Just give me one. Not that one. That's close. Come on. I'm so close to it. I know I see it all the time. Maybe like this one? That one's interesting because it's actually specifically Empire of the Masquerade theme too. Me staring at a computer. I'm so sorry. Too bad. I do have a hard time with that, or trying to figure out where, like, somebody is on like it's like they put in such a small detail, and my eyes lock onto it so much that I feel like that I don't know if I get that same vibe from my art, where like I don't know if like I can get that level of focus on a certain detail, which is why sometimes I go a little overboard with making the characters so huge, and that's because like I want you to like focus on like certain details on like the face, the arm, you know, like the outfit, but I don't know if I can do it unless like they're very like zoomed in. Well, I think I found an artist that does it like all the time. I'm trying to see if there's like a better example, an even better example. Oh yeah, this one's probably the one. This one probably works the best. So the artist is Lenyan, LEN-YAN. Yes. Just put the image. So specifically what I want to go for is that look, that little glow in the center of the pupil. That is not what I was trying to do. So you see how he like has this, just all he does is just like a little dot in like the back of the pupil, and for some reason like my eyes lock onto it from like a mile away, and I don't know if that works for my piece. It's like I'll try it, like I try to do that. I think I need to really make everything in the palette dark. Maybe like just lighting is bright, but like the character needs to be dark, the eyes, pupils, everything needs to be dark, and then just a little dot of light now, and I think that's what it is. I think like I'm too afraid to make like the skin dark, because like I just put in a skin tone, and I just put in like a color, the color of the shirt, and I forget to like really muddy the palette enough that way the highlights like just jump at you. And I think I need to get braver with that, where I like really make the palette just like pop. I think I got another example of that here. Hold on. This is another one. Pop. I don't know whether. This is by C. Cornet. So CCORNET. This one's actually like specifically Vampire the Masquerade theme too. He's a salubri, and you can see like all he has is like this little glint in the back of the eyes, and for some reason it's so sharp, so dramatic to me. And again, I think the issue is that like the eyes are such a dark shade and like the shadow of the brow is so dark, and that's what makes those little dots really pop. And I'm so like afraid of doing that like myself. So I think I really want to push that for this piece. I really want to push that. So I'll make sure to put that in my notes. Really muddy the palette. And with the palette of this piece, so I can really like exactly like what's going on here. Why is everything mirrored? Because the drawing is mirrored. That's why. I figured that. I'm smart. I have the opportunity to like really darken everything, just make everything this like really muddy purple, and then maybe like a little bit of this yellow color for all the people. And I need to just like maximize how sharp those eyes are going to be. So like everything in the palette is going to be super obscured and dark. Maybe put an overlay to really just muddy down the colors. Because this isn't, I already have the character design sheet. Like I have one where like you can see exactly what colors he's wearing. So but this is a piece of art, so I can put in the lighting, put in the colors, and tweak them to look better rather than be more accurate. Like sometimes there's a difference between being accurate and then being visually appealing. Like a concept or animation artist, they have to make things really bright and obvious and clear. And then whenever like you get to the end product, that's when you can make it look good instead of just being visually readable. It's like there's two different. It's like the difference between a diagram and like a painting or like a piece of art. It's like a diagram. You need to be able to read things, and that's it. You need to be able to visually be able to separate things and communicate things with it. But in a piece of art, you can be a little bit more loose. You can be muddy. You can be dirty. You can be dark. You can be obscure. Anyways, that's what I'm going to be trying to do. So let me try to focus on the face a little bit more, sharpen that up, and then we can call it. I think I can stop charging the pen now because I only need it for like another 10-15 minutes. The mic doesn't need to be that close. Got a good noise gate, a little bit of an amp, so my voice should be very loud so long as I'm talking coherently. And you can also hear me breathe like that, so I should stop doing that. I should stop breathing. Oh, I've got to pee. on, wait. This way it makes it a little easier. So, because I'm gonna do the, I'm gonna do the eyes over again, but this makes it a lot easier to keep everything balanced. Let me also do. Nope, didn't grab. Hello. Oh, because the guides are locked. Hold on 1 second. One more again. That's like directly halfway in between, but face is obviously not completely centered. Okay. All right. Here we go. Type myself. My hand. Oh, my joints are actually really sore. I think I might have slept on it. My finger joint. I might have slept on my hand or something. I gotta be careful with that. Okay. That made it a little bit easier. The eyes are always really important to me. That's why I'm spending so much time focusing on them. They're always like one of the most fun ways to express a character. There's that cheesy line, they say like the eyes are like the windows of the soul. So I think that's why I try to like really put a lot of personality into the eyes, because that's like a really like important thing. Even in anime, that's like super important. Unless it's One Piece. One Piece, everybody has very similar eyes. I like to trash talk One Piece. I got a respect for it, but also part of the way I respect things is by making fun of them. Because like I need to be comfortable. Something I can't be in this room with something like I can't like even talk. There we go. Got a very creepy vibe. And then I need to make this smile work. He's actually looking almost exactly like he's in my concept drawing. Just the right amount of. Do you have thick lips or anything? Juicy lip. He does have a pretty thick eyebrows too. I think that's supposed to be like the front. He's got like goofy eyebrows. Pretty wide smile. That way he can be sinister. Sorry if the smile's a little uneven. Actually, try to do a little bit more better to be even. It was much easier when you have a guide. I mentioned that I use face speaker. If you look up like face speaker, Vampire the Masquerade, teeth, you'll get like a bunch of like different teeth for like each clan. And he makes the teeth very serpent-like. The thing is, I think he also makes the gums very serpent-like, where they actually extend past the tooth a little bit. And they have like very thin fangs. Kind of like an actual snake, but I like to keep it a little bit more human, like make them a lot sharper than other vampire teeth. So long, sharp, thin, but not as like alien, I guess. Where, you know, they actually have like very pronounced gum line too. And then see on my little bird, like pull this up. Nope, that's not the wrong right there. Take off the erase. I like the idea of like it's really interesting that they turned like protein into a animalism feature. So that also gives I don't know if that was a new thing. I think that's a new thing. It gives the ministry the ability to morph their face into animalistic features using their powers. And the way that I like to depict that is that he makes so like I said, I like to make them look a little bit more human, but like the fangs are a little bit skinnier and longer than normal. But then whenever he uses animalism, he like completely unhinges his jaw to make gigantic fangs, and just like completely devour you. Like, you know, he basically morphs into his face into a snake that can, you know. I think he does it mostly for intimidation, because he doesn't actually need to swallow you. Even if you consent, he's not going to swallow. That's just not how he is. Okay, yeah. But yeah, that was just a little blurb about that. Where am I? Here we go. And let me make the eyebrows look good. A little rounded, a little. We should make them a little kinder. A little tense, a little open. Like I said, like I was mentioning earlier, like I think he's specifically going for like that slightly socially awkward vibe, where it's like you can tell like he wants to talk. But like he might not be super smooth. He's like a little nerdy, a little bit goofy, something that you can be very comfortable around. And that's how it gets you. He's not super suave and charming. Connor, I think, is the opposite, where he is that like super comfortable. The Toreador, he is that like super obviously like well versed in conversation and very charismatic. So whenever he tries to do somebody, he just instantly goes 100%, you know, socially smooth, just goes right in. Talib's tactic is a little bit more like a little bit more reserved, where he's fun, he's a little goofy, and like charming in like a very like nerdy way. That's the word I was trying to use. Like someone who's socially not all like not perfect, not so goofy that he's gonna like, you know, I don't know, say nice bosom mademoiselle. Like that's not his tactic. Like there are guys that definitely give off that vibe that like they're about to say something that's gonna make everything really uncomfortable in like 3 seconds. That's me. I am gonna say mommy uppy. That's my charm in conversation. That's the vibe you get from somebody like me. Talib is a little bit more reserved, where it's like he's gonna flub his words maybe every now and again, but otherwise he's still like very fun to be around until like, you know, you get a little bit too trustworthy with him, where you get him where he's alone with you, and that's when he starts talking about things that are a little bit more personal. And that's once he gets like those little notes, he starts to realize your personality, your goals, and that's when he starts to use that against. It's like, oh, you want to be an actor? You know, like, have you thought about, you know, I've got connections to the industry. Like I can find you people. And then, you know, like that, as soon as you start to like pull back, where he's like, where you're like, oh, you know, I don't know. Like, I don't know if these people you're talking about are trustworthy. They'll be like, don't worry about, you know, think about it. Like, this is your goal, your dream. Are you going to say no just because you're a little nervous? Obviously, this isn't like actually a way to charm somebody. I don't think any of those lines would work. But I'm trying to give you like the vibe. Because maybe, you know, put in your head what you would say. How would you be charmed into like being a part of groups that maybe aren't super trustworthy? How would he convince? Maybe he's like, I know these people. Like I these are people I hang out with all the time, and you know, I have connections in the industry. Like, and then he pulls out his other social media, and you realize like he's actually a pretty accomplished actor, been in a super popular. Well, actually, he's been in a show that's has a very dedicated fan base, and you know, obviously he's part of the industry. He's got connections. Then he's got an agent. He's like name dropping people that he's starred in. He's got pictures with him and other like acting elites that might also secretly be vampires, but you know, maybe they're just humans, and you know, he has them hypnotized. But you don't know any of that. He's just a guy that's really friendly. And once he's got you alone, he attacks. Or something like that. I think he's got a little bit too much Chad vibe right now. Let me get his face real quick. Does he have like a super broad jaw? Well, technically he's got no jaw because he's headstrong. Why? Stop. Thank you. This. His jaw's a little thinner, his neck's a little scrawnier. Just thin that out a little. What layer am I at? What layer? Here it is. What am I doing? I keep getting lost in like my own head. Oh. Jaw a little, chin a little skinnier, and then neck a little scrawnier.
Thought about it just the other day, how we hadn't anything else to wear, and once the sun tucked under ocean waves, it started pouring down. We had to duck inside, looking for a spot where we could spend the night, but I can't remember how the story ends, and I'm the only one who can
very soft lip. Very soft, little fatty lip. Not too big, not too broad, not too squared. Yep. This is working for me. This is working. It's got like the anime guy vibes, you know, like I think if you watch anime, you know what I'm talking about. Like he's got that look, you know, he's got that look that's like somewhere in the middle of like evil or just really confident. But this one's a little reserved, you know. He's got the eyebrows that are like in a position where it's like he kind of just looks like he's just like open to talk, you know, like it's leading you in. But if you like pay attention to those notes, like the eyes, you can see the sharpness of his eyes, and that's how you know, like, oh, this guy knows what he's doing. That's the secret I want to this character. Let me pull him out once again. So right here. See this? This is like the friendly guy, friendly lad. You know, he's just offering you a drink. He's just fun. And then you see the inside. You see that the manipulator, the beast. There we go. The kindred inside. The vampire that's just waiting to. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know what that means. Anyway. So yeah, he chilling. He big chilling. He about to eat. Wait, am I missing anything? No. Oops. I think there's just one last thing I want to look up. Okay. I'm good. I think we're gonna go good there. Wait, actually, hold on. One last time. I'm wondering if there's anything like I'm missing. I think whenever I get to it, I'm gonna make his eyebrows a little bit more natural, a little bit rough. Because right now it's a little bit just like hard lined. I did try to make it like a little bit like hairy and messy. Then maybe I need to fix the glasses because I think that's a little far. Maybe it's fine. I think I've seen like some of those round glasses. Some of them are like really close. Some of them are actually like super far apart. I love that he's doing. It's so like anime and goofy, but like having like the glasses just like doing that is so stupid, but it's so fun to draw. So specific to like a certain trope, and I love it. All right, so last thing I need to do is just go ahead and give this a save, and we got to figure out a name. So let's see. I try to keep it very simple, but also kind of just like summarize what the character is doing. So for the last character is studying the abyss, which is what she was doing with the blood, and then before that was Kai, Visions of an Empire. That was probably the longest one forward. Then Protecting the Masquerade, On the Run, Embrace the Ember, Enjoying the Unlife, Finding the Right Words. That's so for Talib dash, what can we call it? Offering a shoulder, offering an ear, inviting chaos sounds nice. We invite a little bit of chaos. A little bit of chaos. We do a little bit of that. Let me think. I'm not gonna do seduction. That's a bit much. Eyes across the bar. I've done something like that, like eyes across the smoke cloud. One of my pieces, I named that. It's a little much. Or it's not my piece. It was like I was copying somebody else's art in order to like, because they had a very specific technique that I wanted to try out. I put credit, like I gave it its own name because I don't think they named their pieces, or I couldn't find the name for it, so I just made my own name. Anyway, that's not. Inviting chaos. Look, bar. I think inviting chaos might be the one I go with. Because I think that kind of summarizes him as a character as well as what he's doing. It's like a double meaning, which he is like a not an avatar. That's a little extreme. He's like a word for preacher, or like follower. He's like a follower of chaos, both the follower of Set, follower of chaos. And he is literally inviting you over to drink with him. But then there's also the fact that he's a representative chaos, and that he's an inviting figure. Like he's somebody that seems open, that you want to be inviting, that you want to talk to. So he's inviting as a person, and he's literally inviting. See what I mean, dude? I think I like that. I'm not really great with names, but we're gonna go with it. I like it. And who else am I gonna make happy but me? It's all for me. All right, that's it. We're gonna call that there. We're probably gonna be able to just move right into inks after this, because like before, all I really need to do is ink the character, and then we can leave everything else with the background. I'm gonna try to work on my digital piece. Am I even on camera right? Yeah, I forgot that I like to be like at the edge of my camera. All right. So yeah, we're gonna probably be inking in the next one. We might just need like a little bit of cleanup. We'll see. Yeah, I'm gonna be organizing all the layers and getting all the notes written down so that everything's ready for the next one. I might also think about the lighting. Although this is probably gonna be like a dark alternative bar, or I don't know what to call it. It's like maybe like an industrial bar, like a wood, maybe some metal grate on the floor, some rubber mats, some industrial looking rubber mats, because people are spilling drinks. Dark room, atmospheric lighting, colored, maybe like a reddish hue, or I guess in this case it's got to be purple to fit with the palette. Again, that purple, which is already the color I like to use for shadows, so that's gonna work perfectly. Drink, big drink. I don't think candles are not the right. It works with vampires, but that doesn't necessarily work with industrial. Those are all like those lights where you can see through them, and it's like a little loop-de-loop for the coil inside of the light bulb filament. Okay, that's enough spitball. All right, that's it. Thank you for being here. Please check out my Instagram. I just made the post for my last piece, so if you saw that, I'd really appreciate it if you gave it a like. If you like it, that's up to you. And also check out my Instagram, because I also post other stuff that I don't work on stream. So there's, that's gonna be the place where you see all of my art. Check out my DeviantArt, like I mentioned earlier today. I also post there. It's pretty caught up. It's like a little bit behind. Just don't look at my favorites. That's not gonna work out for either of us. Make sure to check out my YouTube, especially because that's where I put a lot of work into it. So I have my archive channel. That's where all my all my streams go, just so I have it for posterity. But if you want to catch up in your own time, watch it in your own time, just hang out. I also really appreciate that. I appreciate all of it. Then I have the highlight or the time-lapse channel, where everything is cramped down into 5-minute chunks, so you can watch the entire stream, to at least just keep up with the work. If you're not able to actually sit for the stream, I get it. We're all brain rotted. None of us have patience anymore. That's fine. I get that. I respect that. Even I literally watch I'm the type of guy that watches podcasts in like 2 times speed. That way I can just like cut out all the middle dialogue or dead air. Anyways, check out my highlights channel. The time lapse, the supercut of the time lapse, so you can see everything from the very start all the way to the last bit of final touch. That's going to be going up this Wednesday at 3:30 p.m. So check out my time lapse for that. It's going to be like 7 minutes long, 8 minutes long. Oh, sorry, it's a supercut, so maybe like 15 minutes. And that one is you get to see a lot of chaos, a lot of stuff happening really fast. See, that's my YouTube channel. Check out my donation link. I'd appreciate anything you pinch in. It just helps incentivize me to spend more time on here, spend more effort. And then also check out my commission sheet. If you want me to draw one of your characters, I could easily do a piece like this for one of your D&D characters, Vampire the Masquerade characters, obviously. Any kind of role-playing, especially. Like, I love the role-playing games. So if you want me to do a little piece for your character, check out the list down below. I have different rates. See examples. You can see any of my art on any of my other channels. And then just shoot me an email, send me a message. I'll be able to get back. Probably not on Twitch. Send me a message through. Email's probably best. I don't remember what I have on there. Just wait. That. Quick. Oh, that's true. Here it is. Yeah, just either Instagram or my email. Both of those work just fine. So yeah, just shoot me a message. I would love to help work on some missions. Like there are days where I don't have anything to do, so I could easily fit a piece, talk about the design with you. All that sounds good. All right, now we're done. Thanks for watching the stream, even if it's here for like 5 seconds or 5 minutes, or if you're watching in the archive. All the views and time that you spent with me, appreciate it. I like that. It's cool that anybody gives me the time of day. And make sure to catch one of my other streams next Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. I don't think I have any plans. Nothing should be coming up. No vacation. And I'll see you for the next. Have a good one. Have a good night.